Good evening to all of you. Today we will be starting the day two and webinar two of this global sustainability opportunities Gulf perspective, which we have titled Parinayati in association with International Affairs Committee. Before we'll start with an auspicious note of with our institute's anthem.
मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय.
Just to share a short profile of the speakers, starting with CMA Shekhar. Sir is a BCom, FCMA, ACS, LLB General. Is in whole-time practice as company secretary since 1996. He is also registered insolvency professional. Prior to commencing practice, he specialized in the field of corporate laws, foreign exchange management, FEMA, SEBI, and corporate sustainability. He has contributed a lot in various publications. He has been the co-opted member of Corporate Laws Committee and Sustainability Standard Board of our institute. Second speaker, Dr. Ranjit Krishnan sir. He is also presently in the SSB board and currently a sustainability consultant whose specialization is in the field of sustainability research and academics. He is having an experience of over 2 decades in research, training, writing, and teaching. He is also in the board of studies in many institutes of national repute. He is widely traveled. Sir has also authored and co-authored more than 80 articles in various national dailies and economic dailies and journals of international repute. We welcome both the speakers for today, and I request Shekhar sir to start the proceedings.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the second day of the webinar series, day two today. And today, the scope of our discussions is on climate change and global warming in the first instance. And it is already ringing alarm bells for entire world, but how it is impacting UAE and the Saudi and the other nations in the Gulf. I would request Ranjit to give an introductory comment, the brief and way forward on that. And then we will be taking up in the second part, we will be taking up on the Sustainable Development Goals as applicable for GCC countries. Ranjit, I request you to take up.
Thank you very much. Very apt background behind the screen for Mr. A. Shekhar. We can see a very good bridge, connecting the possibility of opportunities in terms of sustainability between India and many other countries. Welcome back for the second day, and we are going to discuss a significant topic pertaining or specifically pertain to the GCC nations, that is on climate change, global warming, and the impact of SDGs and the performance of SDGs in these countries. These days, one of the common words which is very popular or which we use is fasten your seat belts. Okay, and fasten your seat belts are normally used when there is a reason for calamity, or when there is a possibility for any calamity, be it in terms of climate or be it in terms of any other contingency. But this climate change and global warming is really expecting the individual as well as the society or the entire community to fasten our seat belts. We have to be very careful when it comes to climate change and global warming. Now, to cite a small example, probably from our own context, earlier days, we don't know when, we don't look at the calendar, particularly in South. The day in which it rains is considered to be 1st of June. That was the accuracy at one point of time. If it's a rainy day and it's on the onset of the monsoon, it is 1st of June. Okay, today it's not like this. These days it's not like that. We have seen an early start of monsoon, particularly in the southwest part of the country. And it started almost on the last week of May. It rained for the last, what do you say? It rained for the 3 weeks or so, but we have not seen any major rains or pouring. We can see only drizzling, but not pouring in the last many days. This tells us volumes about the impact of climate change. I'm trying to convey the concept or the impending crisis of climate change with the help of this small example. And these type of changes we can witness and we can see in whichever part of the globe we are living in. We have seen, the problem with regard to water shortage. One part of the world is suffering because of excess water logging, and all those things. And the other part of the world probably is facing the crisis of water crunch. We have seen, May months and all used to be a drought month for many of the countries. And at the same time, unusual rains also we have seen during the peak summer. That speaks or that that can be considered as an alarming bell when it comes to the matter of climate change. And when it comes to global warming, the entire subcontinent, the GCC countries, and almost all the why to say about GCC countries and all, including the American continent, is badly affected because of global warming. And because of that, we are facing huge shortage of water. Some of the places there are heavy rains, unusual rains, and all those things. And the unusual rains also, we don't have actually the nature's mechanism to tackle a calamity, because we have gone against the nature by cutting off trees, by planting of unwanted trees also, like which I have mentioned yesterday, without applying our mind on what type of trees are suitable for which type of habitat and all those things. So we have gone against the nature, and when there is a nature's calamity, we are actually not in a position to face it, or we are not prepared to face it. So this problem is there globally. Go to any country, this is there, right? It is more threatening than any other calamity. And be it our country or any of the neighboring countries, the crisis with regard to global warming can be seen very evidently. So we have understood that this is the drawback. We have understood that this is a major challenge, and it is time for us, maybe from an environmental, economic, as well as social perspective, to convert that challenge into an opportunity, right? We should have, when there is a challenge, there is no other way. We have to face the challenge. We have to face the challenge. Is there any other way? No, we can't stop it. We have to face the challenge. And while facing the challenge, we also have to convert it into opportunities. So there are various opportunities also, which we are getting. Of course, that opportunity is at a very high cost, I must say. And that opportunity can't be considered as a welcoming opportunity, but at the same time, when it is coming, we have to take it as an opportunity and capitalize on it. So, that is what we are looking at. I'm sure that Shekhar sir will, during the course of his lecture, will discuss in detail about all the challenges which the GCC countries are facing in terms of global warming. When we go to, some of you who have visited the globe, the um, Middle East, particularly during the midsummer and all. At one point of time, even in the roads also, they will not show the exact degree of temperature. They'll show it as above 50 or above 45 or something like that in order to stop people from getting panic. But that doesn't mean that the impact of global warming is not there. The impact of global warming is faced in micro level, which itself is unbearable. So we can think of its impact when we are facing at a macro level, which is very, very disheartening. And the second topic which we are going to discuss today is the Sustainability Development Goals of 2015. The target time given to us is from 2015 to 2030. But before the SDGs, we should also have a basic understanding of MDGs, that is the Millennium Development Goals, which was started in the year 2000 and it was up to 2015. So, around 8 parameters were covered in Millennium Development Goals, if you see, again prescribed by United Nations, which includes eradication of extreme poverty and hunger. Number 1. Number 2 is to achieve universal primary education. 3 is to promote gender equality and empower the women. Reduce the child mortality is another one. Improve the maternal health. Compact of diseases including HIV, AIDS, malaria and other diseases. Ensure environmental sustainability and develop a global partnership for development. So these were the 8 areas which we have seen in the Millennium Development Goals. Up to what extent the Millennium Development Goals were achieved in its full sense and all those things is a matter of debate. But good efforts were put by all the nations, needless to mention, including India. We have seen good efforts, and it is not possible for us, we talk about net zero and all those things. Up to what extent it is going to be fully achievable and all is something which we have to wait and see. But only if we have high objectives, we'll be in a position to achieve something which is near to that. So in extension to what we have seen in the Millennium Development Goals, that 8 parameters, we have the 17 parameters, which is, which includes these parameters also. So when you are including these parameters also, it means that these parameters were not fully achieved. So the SDGs, which was started in 2015 and the target is up to 2030, is an extension of MDG, what we have seen at the commencement of this millennium, that is in the year 2000. So today we have made a sincere attempt to give you a clear awareness about how the GCC countries are performing in lines with the UN's SDGs, up to what extent they have addressed it, where they have progressed, which are the lagging aspects or where they are lacking and all those things, what efforts they are making and all those things. But I must tell you that excellent efforts are made by countries like Saudi Arabia and countries like UAE and all, with a lot of seriousness and all those things. And UAE particularly, because the face of UAE, the Dubai and all are changing in an incredible speed. You can find big mansions, big towers and all, with a lot of industrial developments, which is evident, particularly evident or visibly evident in the last 1 decade. So they are, today, we have gone much ahead in terms of even construction industry also. There is a new concept which has come in the last decade called MyOne technology, where you can make a building, maybe, a 40-storied or 100-storied building in a span of 3 months or so. So up to what extent, these countries are, what do you say, getting prepared to have an economic development, also keeping in mind or without hampering the sustainability and all those things. We are talking about big buildings. For example, I just mentioned about 40-storied buildings, 60-storied buildings and all. Good from one side, from economic development and all, it's very good, no doubt about it. But we must also imagine and understand that it is also affecting the habitat of the wild birds and all those things. Not the normal birds like crows, sparrows and all those things, but wild and birds like eagle, vulture and all, it's their habitat. We are getting into their territory and all those things. So the world is not actually meant for us. It is also meant for us. So just like it is also meant for us, it is also meant for the other habitat also. So up to what extent we are taking care of all these things, this is what Shekhar sir will be trying to speak today, along with what all are the opportunities which are existing as on today, and he will also cover about some of the possible future opportunities also in the field of sustainability. And when we speak about sustainability and when we speak about opportunities, we have from a common man's angle, two different types of opportunities. Not necessarily that you have to go and work there. For example, there are a lot of consultancy work where you can sit in India and do the work. Such type of things will be discussed by Shekhar sir today. And with this introductory remarks, I will request Shekhar sir to take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ranjit, for a crisp coverage of global warming and climate change, and also giving an intro to sustainable development goals. I have made a structured presentation, which I'll be making it for the participants. So I'll start sharing the screen. Can see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll take it into slideshow. Basically, what are the sustainable development goals? These are actually a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all by 2030. It all started as in the form of a Paris Agreement, wherein 193 nations committed to these certain targets. These targets are called Sustainable Development Goals. And they recognize that social, economic, and environmental sustainability are interconnected. This is a major breakthrough compared to Millennium Development Goals, where there were specific goals, but they were not interconnected in a way. They were all standalone targets. But here the interconnection is there. But even within that interconnection, there are a lot of problems, which is what we will be trying to understand in the course of the discussion. Basically, an introduction, if you see, there are 17 goals. Each of them addresses global challenges, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. And each goal has got specific targets and indicators to measure progress towards achieving them. This is what is basically the gist of Sustainable Development Goals. Now, this is what is the complete list, 17 SDGs. Now, each SDG has got to be measured against not against three aspects. Now, when you say no poverty, it has got only a social aspect, like no poverty, zero hunger, good health, well-being, quality education. This first four has got social aspect. When you talk about gender equality, it is not only got a social aspect, but it is also a governance matter. So countries are taking major steps to ensuring gender equality. Some of the European nations have done very well, but other countries have a fairly long way to go. When you see clean water and sanitation, it is also achieving certain environmental goals. Environmental impact is adverse impact of an environment is reduced, and also there is a social aspect to it. And when you say seventh, affordable and clean energy, it's entirely related to environment. But what is interesting, you will note, is with respect to item number 9, where all three aspects of the SDG are interconnected. When industry, innovation, and infrastructure has got environment, social, and governance. Just to give you one example, if you happen to know, Bangladesh as a nation wanted to grow its industry very fast. So it laid focus on their textile industry, and they achieved excellent results. Their exports touched such a level that they were competing even with China. And their exports were of textile products constituted 70% of their total exports, of total all exports. So you might say that it achieved excellent results when it comes to economics, the numbers which were good. But environment, of course, there was not an issue. But what happened was they employed child labor, and this was flagged as a social issue, abuse of human rights. Now, human rights is one of the aspects in the Sustainable Development Goals. And so that when you achieve one SDG, you are breaching another SDG. Similarly, when you are going for infrastructure, huge infrastructure, certain metro projects, etc., there is an environmental issue. How you manage the adverse environmental impact, and how do you dispose of the waste, building waste or construction waste. So it is all about balancing the Sustainable Development Goals, reconciling the priorities, and the priorities are basically of 3 levels: short term, medium term, and long term. Short term or immediate future. If your country has got extreme poverty and hunger is one of the points which you need to contain, that has to be tackled in the short run. You have to keep aside the other goals for the time being. Once you address the short term disparities, then only you go to medium term and long term. So this kind of a granular analysis is required at each country level. So as SDG for UAE may be different from the Sustainable Development Goals for, let's say, Qatar. So this is a important aspect which you have to understand and appreciate. So whenever you are dealing with Sustainable Development Goals, it has to be at the country level, at the local level. Even within the country, like UAE, as you all know, there are 7 separate monarchies. So now it may be different. Sharjah may be different from Dubai. Abu Dhabi is different from, let's say, Ras Al Khaimah, if you take UAE as such. So there are inequalities. There could be challenges. Yes.
Shekhar sir, one example, since you have quoted about Bangladesh, we have also seen what has happened in Sri Lanka 3 years back. They have gone to the other extreme of making everything sustainable and organic. But they also miserably failed. So what Shekhar sir is telling is to have a clear balance. We cannot, in order to have a, we should have sustainability in terms of development also. There should be sustainable development. We have seen the fall of 2 countries when they opted for, or we have seen the bad consequences of both the countries when they have gone for the extreme this thing. One went for high level of industrial development, the carbon footprint sits in a very high side. One went for 100% organic, their economy has shattered very badly. So we should always go for a balanced medium approach to have a sustainable development. Shekhar sir, I think this is what exactly yes. You wanted to tell.
Basically reconciling your priorities. Yeah. There may be conflicting goals in the short term, in the medium term, there will be less conflicting priorities. But in the long run, we all agree that the sustainable development goal has to be achieved. That is why 2030 was agreed as a target, by which time, which was regarded as reasonably long term, sometime in 2017. But now we are in 2025, we have 8 years behind now, and we are struggling to reach anywhere near our targets. So it calls for a review, a serious review, where we are lagging behind, where we have done well, and that has to happen not just at global level. It has to happen at the country level, and top down and bottom up approach has to be adopted, and it also has to happen at the local level.
All said, normally in any of the sustainability related advertisements or promotion, we find reuse, recycle, and these are the two terms which we normally see: reuse and recycle and refurbish, or whatever it is, But with regard to, if you understand the crux of 17 SDGs, there is a need for repair also, REPAER. And that is what probably we are doing by consolidating all these 17 principles and evaluating from its environmental, social, and governance perspective also. So, according to me, we are also in a repairing mode to achieve this SDGs in a sustainable manner.
Yes. And also, it is a fallacy to believe that advanced nations are doing very well and they have no problems. It's not like that. If you take US, the inequality levels may be the highest. The gap between the richest person and the poorest person would be the highest in US, a developed nation. So they have they were supposed to take sustainable development goals of reducing inequality. It's a different matter, though, that they have chosen to exit the Paris Agreement. But I'm just giving an example. That kind of a situation could be there. And that is why reducing inequality is one of the most important social goals. Now, how that has to be achieved is for the respective country to decide. And then there is always a case of imbalance in development. Certain areas in a big country, like India, for instance, there may be some pockets where the development levels are very high, but there may be pockets where the poverty levels are also there. So that is called imbalance in growth and development. So that is
disequilibrium economy.
Disequilibrium. But overall aggregate is good. It's like, for example, I showed you a slide on yesterday on per capita GDP. If you see what is the highest income and what is the lowest income range, if you see, or if you take the median GDP, median is a favorite subject, in corporate governance, when you in India, particularly when you're asked to report remuneration, median remuneration. Median, if you calculate, in fact, it might be interesting to calculate the median GDP of these UAE countries. I didn't find this anywhere. Median is basically nothing but the centralmost data point in a range. So the midpoint in terms of the highest, data is ranked from high to low or from low to high, and the middle observation is taken as median. Now, it will be interesting to see what is the median for each of these GCC nations to really take steps for reducing inequality. The median should go higher up if you are addressing that SDG. Sustainable cities and community, again, as it is connected with 9, it has got great importance from an environmental perspective, and while doing so, governance has to be ensured. Responsible consumption and production has got all the 3 aspects. Climate action, we know. Life below water, a very major point with respect to nations which coastal nations like Saudi and UAE, I think, have a coastline. Is that right, Ranjit? Hello?
Yeah, that's right.
Ranjit, UAE and Saudi, they have a coastline.
That's right.
I think Saudi has a much longer coastline. So
Yes.
for them, life below water will be a very important sustainable development goal. I am not clear as to what kind of targets they have committed, but it is very important. And I believe they are giving a lot of importance to that. Life on land, of course, the animals, animal life, plant life, everything that's covered in that environment part. Peace and justice, strong institutions. So you have various blocks in this world, like you have got the G20, you have got the BRICS nation, and then also you have got for administration of justice, you need strong institutions. But somewhere down the line, there is a lot of divided and vested interests which are there globally, and that is coming against achieving this sustainable development goal. And you have to get partnership to achieve goal. And this is where GCC nations are, despite the regional conflicts, they have come together and formed partnership and working jointly to achieve goals. Take you to the next slide. What is the global significance of these SDGs? Basically, they serve as a blueprint for global cooperation to tackle pressing issues facing humanity. They encourage countries to work together and share resources, knowledge, and best practices to achieve sustainable development. And achieving the sustainable development is essential for fostering a development for current, benefiting current and future generations. Basically, 2030 is kept as a target for most of the countries to achieve, certain specific targets under each of these 17 heads. And some of these targets are without quantification, and some of these targets are with quantification. And what is very important here is that there is an emphasis on a holistic approach to development inclusivity, and no one should be left behind. That is the whole purpose of the agenda of UN for sustainable development. GCC countries, all the 6 of them, they have given, some of them have given concrete measurable commitments. Some of them have given general commitments, but they have given commitments to achieve the SDG. They recognize the importance of sustainable development for their economies and the society. They have launched numerous initiatives to align their national development strategies with the SDGs. Renewable energy investments for promoting development and reducing carbon emissions. Education initiatives are a priority for GCC countries to enhance skills and knowledge for future generations. Healthcare development, quality of life to be improved for their citizens, and advanced medical services to be made available for this purpose. Infrastructure projects we already covered a lot. And how collaborative efforts are taking place in the GCC. Knowledge sharing is one of the methods by which the best practices are shared between the member countries so that you could have innovative solutions for sustainable development. Resource allocation. And this is an area where a CMA is the right professional to be consulted and from whom you could take advice. It allows GCC countries to pool their resources effectively. And effectively, when we say, it means maximizing their impact for achieving sustainable development goals. And the other method of collaboration is by taking up joint projects. That align with regional strategies and enhance their collective efforts in the sustainable development. And now what we will do is, we will look at what are the key focus areas for each country. So first we start with UAE. Now, UAE basically stands committed to clean energy and climate action. There is an energy strategy, UAE Energy Strategy 2050. These are all fairly lengthy documents. One needs to read and understand this to understand the true significance of this. UAE Green Agenda 2030. And there is concrete focus for reducing the emissions. Food security is important. So is social inclusion and human development, education, healthcare. And when you talk of sustainable economic growth, that can happen only when there are enough job opportunities for all, decent work for all, and UAE Vision 2030. This is again dealing with sustainable economic growth. So UAE has laid out specific plans and strategy as focus areas to achieve SDG. And then 2030 Studio is a means by which partnerships and collaboration efforts are worked out. Now, something about this is a specific initiative so that we understand the true import of that. Energy Strategy 2050 aim to achieve a 50% clean energy target and reduce power sector emissions by 70%. So when you say that the emissions, power sector emissions should be reduced by 70%, it means that the effectiveness of the transmission of power and the sourcing has to be channelized properly, and thereby you reduce the power sector emissions by 70%. And 50% clean energy target means you need to change the energy mix by having more renewable energy instead of the fossil fuel based energy. UAE Net Zero 2050. This is the first in the entire, not only in the GCC, but in the entire Middle East and North Africa region, and create 200,000 green jobs and add 3% to GDP. So see the quantum of the effort and the impact. UAE Vision 2030. Now, before I go to that, you should understand what net zero means. Net zero doesn't mean that you totally do away with emissions. Or, what it means is that your emission levels are at the same level as they are today, they don't increase. So that the increase is net zero. UAE Vision 2030, the target is doubling the national GDP, boosting non-oil exports and tourism. Now, non-oil, anything on non-oil, if it contributes to GDP, is welcome in the GCC countries because they are trying to reduce the dependence on oil-based business. It's not that they are doing away with it, but they are reducing their dependence so that the exposure is reduced, and that is what makes their economic activity sustainable. So boosting tourism and achieving top global rankings in Human Development Index and food security. This is for 2030 vision. So when these are all the targets which they have set for themselves, you will see the kind of opportunity which professionals practicing in this field will have. And today what is happening is UAE is dependent for all this evaluation of the performance. They are dependent on foreigners. And this advice, technical expertise, etc., comes mainly from US or from Europe. But that is happening at the top end of the spectrum. The MSME sector and companies in that line offers the mid-level type of opportunity where there is a very big gap. Ranjit, you have anything to say on this?
No, sir, please go ahead.
UAE Green Agenda 2030 that focuses on increasing the GDP, boosting exports and reducing emissions. So some of these strategies or agenda may have some overlaps from what I could see. So in case there is an overlap, then one should go with the stiffer target to ensure that the sustainable development goals are achieved. Social inclusion and human development. And here efforts are made to achieve gender equality, empowerment of women, integration of people with disabilities into society, in addition to investments in education, healthcare, and social services. And 2030 Studio is an initiative of the National Committee on SDGs. Works with various organizations to align with the UAE's commitment to a sustainable future. So you can see the amount of initiatives which the UAE has taken. Really mind-boggling, and to bring this all into a performance report is itself quite a big task. Now let's see what is happening in Saudi. Saudi also focus is similar: renewable energy, economic diversification, healthcare, education, gender equality, sustainable cities and communities, environmental sustainability. These are all fairly clear. Water and sanitation, and international collaboration and knowledge sharing. Now, water becomes important for much more important for Saudi, because for drinking water also they are having a desalination. That the desalination is the source. So water is, and desalination is costly, and this is one area where a lot of effort will be appreciated if water can be conserved and its utilization monitored. And that's one of the key focus areas for SDG. And it's leveraging its Vision 2030 plan to drive progress across various sectors and align with its safety. Oman, what is happening is, again, similar this one, but energy transition. From, again, I believe this transition refers to fossil-based fuel to renewable energy, and how much they are not talking of targets, but they have said we will focus on these key areas. The rest of the things are similar, except that there is a focus on green and circular economy, which Oman has identified. And they are working towards that, which makes it slightly different from the others. And of course, partnership is there. Now, Oman's Vision 2040. So they have provided themselves a little bit more time to achieve the targets. They contain an integrated plan to achieve SDGs 2030 and achieve net zero by 2050. So the planning, there is only one document and not multiple document, but Vision 2040 has got a pathway even for net zero by 2050. Most of these GCC countries have committed net zero by 2050. So only two nations among the larger ones which has a longer time frame is China and India. Jointly, they came together and they said that to 2070 is our realistic target. Now, the next is Qatar. Qatar is like, it's they have 6 main objects. 1, 2, 3 are, and 3 are known. It's a fairly straightforward. Sustainable production and consumption. So they this will extend into the value chain also. So they have identified this as a specific key and key focus area. And very interestingly, item number 5 is very interesting, bullet 5. Carbon reduction, including carbon capture. Now, what is carbon capture? You see, when emissions are not controlled or they are not, you are not able to measure, then that is called as fugitive emissions. Now, in carbon capture, there are technologies which doesn't allow these emissions to escape. So carbon capture technologies is one of the very important areas where the Qatar rather is giving a key focus. And of course, there is partnership for SDG. Ranjit, any comments on this?
Sir, these are statistics and details pertaining to country. I will speak in the end, sir.
He'll speak in okay, right.
Yeah. Because you're going country wise, no. So I will have a general this thing in the end, sir.
Kuwait has got 2035 vision which emphasizes the private sector, and the emphasis is on private sector as the engine of growth and aims to attract more investors. So economic diversification, that talks about 3 bullets which are common, but developing private sector development means that the size is going to be not very big. So there is likely to be encouragement scope for MSME sector in the economic diversification and growth. Environmental sustainability, 1, 2, and 3 are known, but as green building standards is interesting. There's a specific focus given by Kuwait for that. The others may also have this. It may contribute towards sustainable development goals, but they have identified it as a key focus area, so which is very interesting. Social development, again, same like general like the other TCC mentioned. Now I am coming at the end of this country-wise performance to focus rather to Bahrain. Again, Bahrain also talks about private sector development other than sustainable growth, inclusive industrialization, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Yes, now climate action goal of Bahrain is 2060. Others are all 2050. The climate Bahrain has taken a slightly longer time for its target. Resource efficiency in production and consumption, this is very good. Infrastructure development and coastal and marine ecosystems. We talked about Saudi, but Bahrain has also identified it as a key focus area. Social development, and then cross-cutting initiative marks Bahrain's specialty in the sense that they talk about in the SDG, they are talking about strengthening data systems to enhance national statistics capacity. Now, this actually is a general scenario, even large countries having established setup, what is the level of accuracy of the statistics which you have and the data systems which give you these statistics. This is a very interesting focus area for a small country like Bahrain. And of course, you have partnership. So we have summarized the key focus areas. Now let's go into the global performance, the rankings, etc. We will do. First, we'll talk about the global as a whole, and then we will talk about the 6 countries separate. Ranjit, anything on the key focus areas in general before we go to actual performance?
Not exactly, sir. You can go ahead.
Now, this is a global brief. 190 out of 193 nations have formed commitment and they have got national level plans. 3 nations have chosen not to participate. USA having pulled out of Paris Agreement. East and South Asia have done very well. Generally, there could be variations within country level. European countries continue to top the SDG rankings. Now, what is happening at the global level? None of the 17 goals are currently on course to be achieved by 2030. 17% of the targets are on track to be achieved worldwide. And some good progress is there on some development. But the problem which is there, which is universal problem for developing countries is lack of fiscal support to achieve even whatever targets they have committed, and they have said very clearly that finance is needed, support is needed for enabling us to achieve the targets which we have given. Now, globally, if you see this list of 12, in this top 12, United Kingdom is the only nation which is outside the Europe, and that also only because of Brexit. Otherwise, all these are geographically within Europe. And if you see 19 nations, top 19 nations are all from Europe geographically. So Europe is very serious. If you want to see achievement of SDG, you have to study what Europe has done as a benchmark. Now, what about India? India has moved up 10 places to 99 as per the development report of 2025. And there is a score of 67. Again, this is an average, which is what I was telling you, that when there is an average of states, multiple states, you find some states doing very well and some states doing laggard, and some states just at the mediocre level at the central point of the average. So but GCC countries also, that kind of granular level, if data is available, it will call for analysis, of course, but there is a very good opportunity for data analysis and using artificial intelligence. Data can be processed and analyzed, and based on the analysis, decisions can be taken to move faster towards SDG. And there is a very good scope for that in the UAE and Saudi particularly, and also in the other 4 GCC nations. Now let's look at
surprisingly, SDG performance also is more or less matching with the happiness quotient index also. You know, most of the countries are also featuring there more or less in the same sequence. Okay, and when it comes to India, it is in 126th position out of 156 countries.
No, 126 is slightly earlier here. Now it is 99.
Yeah, you're talking in terms of SDG, no?
99 versus 126.
Yeah. I'm talking about happiness quotient index.
Yes.
Which is what I want to tell you is, you know, both the statistics are more or less matching in terms of countries.
So you are saying that there is a correlation between happiness index and the ranking in the SDG.
Yeah, that's what, you know, it just indicates. So I thought I will just make a passing reference.
And in fact, I'll just go back to the slide of Europe.
Because the ultimate objective is what? A peaceful world, no?
And Finland, which is top here, is also top in happiness index, I believe.
Yeah.
And the methods used to measure this score are different. So both methods yield the same result.
It's different, but you know, results are more or less same, no?
That's what I'm saying. You use different methods and you're getting
altogether a different mechanism. But what I'm telling is, you know, we can't ignore the correlation between these two. That's what all I want to tell.
Yes.
Now, though the perspectives are entirely different.
Now you see the performance of UAE. It is ranked 80. In fact, in the GCC countries, this is a topmost rank among the, and the way in which this dashboard is made is that green means SDG is achieved. So in 3 cases, like 1, no poverty, quality education, and reduced inequalities, they have achieved their SDG. So you have to give a round of applause for UAE. But they will not be happy even with this. They would like to do better than it. And the arrow, upward arrow, See, again in the green, there are two levels. Though it may have achieved target, it is marginally it is going up. Orange is there. So it has to be interpreted. But you see whether there are more greens, then if more greens means that they have progressed well. And there are a lot of red. So reds means major challenges and zero hunger, decent work and economic growth, life below water, climate action, life on land. Partnership for goals, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption, clean water. So challenges are there in many of the areas. And certain cases there are challenges which are still there. And the black portion last is information unavailable. Now that problem you don't face in the case of UAE. And all this data is basically a screenshot of the Sustainable Development Report country-wise in the ranking. The source I had given at this is Sustainable Development Report 2025 of UN. If you see this, there is a detailed analysis of the performance. So what I have shown here is only a snapshot for you to get an idea of what this is about. Oman, there is no green, but there are a lot of orange and a lot of red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 reds and 6 oranges and 3 information not available. No poverty, they don't have information. And 10 and 16, there is no info. Peace, justice, strong institutions, reduced inequalities, they don't have the information. So that is so far as Oman ranked 97.
With regard to the GCC, one advantage is, though there are many reds, they have fully understood what are the challenges and all those things. If you look at the statistics of some of the African countries, if you download from the same website, you will find many areas where data is not available. So here it is actually a progress indication that at least they have, see, when you have understood and classified something under red, you can work on it and improve the situation. No, but there are some countries like, in the African continent where they are yet to identify what all are their real challenges.
See, the data, if you recollect, I think one of the countries we saw, they are investing in data analysis, statistics. I think it was Kuwait, I think. So that is very important, and that is what is required for African countries also. Now, next we take up Saudi Arabia. Saudi also has surprisingly 1 no poverty and 10 reduced inequalities. They have no information. So that is a constraint which they need to address. No information is a major constraint.
But I think that point number 1, no poverty, is more or less in the green this thing only. Probably they might not have compiled and statistically derived the information, but generally speaking, depending upon the company's topography and all those things. And I must also say with the philosophy of the country also, I don't think that poverty exists.
Reduced inequalities, and these two both are connected.
Yeah.
So they have that, or they are not confident about their own data.
Or they may not have compiled the actual statistics. Yeah.
And that is
I can't speak about point number 10, but with regard to 1 seems to be.
And that is where this data analysis, artificial intelligence, and this kind of concepts come in. And if they invest in that, they will be able to address this problem. And those professionals will be in demand. And that is what is the opportunity which raises up seem to be arising out of these observations. And now
See what
let's see.
happens. I really don't know what are the parameters to assess no poverty and all those things. Now, if you take the case of our country, correct me if I'm wrong, sir. It is linked to census. Am I correct?
Yes, national
It is-
population register.
Yeah. And which happens mostly, a real census initiative happens once in every 20 years or so. What is the exact statistics?
10
I don't
years,
know.
10 years, 10 years.
10 years it is expected to happen, but is it really happening in the last 10 years? Whether census
No, there
has
was a census in 2021. If I'm not
okay. State or
And
national,
2011.
sir?
Huh?
State or national?
No, it is all it's consolidated at the national level.
No, it is consolidated at the national level.
But
No
at state
doubt
level,
about
it is
it.
taken in the
It is
same
taken in
time,
the state level, but I don't
there
think
is-
that all the states have completed that process.
Anyway, I am not 100% sure, but what I understand is that it is done once every 10 years
Every
and by
10 years.
all the
Yes.
states.
Yes.
Now next comes Qatar. Qatar is no poverty is green. And otherwise you have yellow, challenges remain. And significant challenges, orange also is there.
But
And-
sir, what is your take? Just as a based on my academic interest, I'm asking. By 2030, can we see the entire globe? First parameter, no poverty in green mark?
Not possible. Not possible. No poverty, I don't think is possible because we were put back by COVID by around 2-3 years. And many of
it is for other parameters, I agree, but I'm talking about no poverty. Can it be achievable, sir? By 2030 globally?
Some of the countries require funds.
Okay.
So I don't expect much on that.
Okay.
And with
So
wars going on.
anything which you expect to be fully green by 2030, sir?
Fully green, I don't expect anything. At the most, you may have orange.
Okay.
At the most, you may have orange.
So you will find all these things in the version which is going to. You are going to see all these versions, all these things in the versions which is going to come after 2030, in whatever name it is called.
I am saying the way things have taken shape in the last 1 or 2 years, the challenges are going to be there for the next generation also. So that means a challenge means opportunity for professionals. It's one way of looking at it. It's a generational opportunity. Because importance is going to be given more and more, and there is no choice but to give importance to this. Now, next is Bahrain. Bahrain also, again, 1 and 10, there is a problem. Now, we'll need to see its study as to why they are not able to get, why there is no information on these two parameters. 110 out of 167, Bahrain's rank is, and country score is 64.4. Regional average is 65.6. Now, what is meant by regional average, I believe, is that Middle East and North Africa average. Now, GCC, we don't have a separate average. This regional average is Middle East and North Africa. Then, after Bahrain, I think you have Kuwait. 118 out of, again, 1 and 10 information is not available. And you have a lot of reds and orange and 1 yellow. Missing data is almost around 10-12% in all the cases. Now here we will be, see, while they are, GCC countries are making progress in achieving targets, They face challenges such as resource limitations and climate change. However, there are also opportunities for innovation, development, and international cooperation. Now, key points to focus in the GCC. Significant energy production from fossil fuel sources, which we identified close to 50%. Extreme temperatures. Extreme temperatures means, as you said, as Ranjit was pointing out, 45 degrees plus.
50 plus.
50 plus. So 50 plus, you said they put 45 plus, no?
They will just use 50, 45 plus, that's all. They will not indicate the exact.
Even 60 is 45 plus, that way. 56, 57 also it has touched in some places.
That's right, that's right.
Private transport culture, the public transport is not a popular means of transport in any of the GCC countries, right, Ranjit?
No, now things are, changing actually, particularly in Dubai and all. No, you can afford to move in public transport. They have got an excellent public transport facility in the form of buses and all, low floor buses and all those things. AC buses, taxis and all those things. What you're telling is absolutely correct, but things have totally changed in the last 5 years. In fact, many professionals are preferring to take public transport in countries like Dubai also.
And majority of portable
but not
water,
in other countries.
No, only UAE possibly may be having. Yeah. And UAE also only Dubai and Abu Dhabi maybe.
Yeah.
Portable water is obtained from desalination, and that is a costly exercise. Heavy industrialization leads to higher demand. See, population growth in GCC is 1.6%, whereas globally it is 1%. And this also with significant expat workforce in the GCC population. These are all points to focus, which we should understand. And significant is UAE in financial sector and Saudi as a manufacturing hub. This is how GCC is going to grow in the future. So opportunities are going to come up according to that trend. Expectation from sustainability initiatives, aiming to achieve net zero by 2050 or 2060, diversification into renewable energy and reduce dependence on fossil fuels, pollution reduction, recycle water resources, focus on employment generation, inclusive growth and development, balanced economic and social developments, fair and ethical business environment. See, transparency, accountability, and governance can be a very major area for professionals to practice. And the last one is extremely important, to which any country, India will talk about Indian cultural value. Arab nations, they want their cultural values to be upheld. So there should not be any breach on that in whatever a professional associated with these countries is going to pursue. Highest regard and respect should be there for their culture. This is extremely important for a professional. Now, a challenge is also an opportunity. It's like two sides of the same coin. Diversification leads to new sustainability challenges. Regional conflicts adversely impact stability and progress. Now, I refer to dependence on expertise for technical matters. So, like UAE and Saudi, for instance, technical expertise is always from Europe or US. But in the mid-size and mid-corporates, etc., if at all there is a gap, that is where Indian professionals, Indian CMAs, they have a chance to bridge the gap. Balancing the ethnic culture, it's all about balancing. mindset still in favor of private transport. As Ranjit was pointing out, in Dubai, there is some change. But rest of this thing, other than Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I don't know how it is in Saudi or this thing. But the general preference is for private transport. I have a vehicle and I'll go by my private vehicle only. I will not go by public. Regulatory framework with respect to ESG corporate governance required to be tightened. Skill gap is widening in the wake of fast pace of technology. So skill gap is there. Technological changes are happening pretty fast. Some country, UAE is probably doing a better job in terms of catching up with the technological changes. But the rest of the GCC, there is a gap. And with this, I have concluded my presentation. Ranjit, you want to add anything now?
Yeah. See, actually what happens is all these challenges, as rightly said, are the golden opportunities. Like if you sir go to the previous slide about particularly in terms of diversification, in terms of opportunity. Imagine when we started the session, we have seen that it was a non-renewable centric industry to a galaxy of industries which we are seeing. You know, if you go to any country, things are really changing. Manufacturing hubs are coming. So many of the companies from abroad are considering it as a good place for investment in terms of manufacturing. Okay, in terms of quality also. So, you know, all these things. So what was a challenge earlier is coming as an opportunity, and we are seeing it daily in terms of opportunities, particularly if you see Dubai and if you see Sharjah and all. Why there are a lot of opportunities for legal professionals? Why there are a lot of opportunities for accountants and all those things? It is because of the shift of or the pattern of industrialization and all those things. As I said, be it a service industry, or be it in terms, be it a hospitality industry or whatever it is. And a good thing is, you know, they are right from the commencement of this rebuilding. You know, it's a rebuilding phase because they are going from a particular segment to another segment. India with vast diversity, we have not seen such type of things, but Gulf is witnessing that, the GCC countries. So here, from a petroleum centric approach, they are moving towards industrialization. But the good thing what they are doing is, or where the bus which we have missed this, we went ahead in terms of industrialization, without thinking about sustainability, and paid the price, and now coming back to the track. But they have understood from the lessons which the mistakes which was done by other countries, and they are moving ahead in such a direction, keeping in mind the sustainability practices. You know, I'm not talking about GCC countries alone. Take the case of China, they are doing like that. Take the case of Japan. They are not, you know, Japan is having the most advanced railway technology and railway network we have seen. You know, the distance covered by trains, the bullet trains in Japan is incredible. Maybe sometimes the speed is more or less equivalent to the flight and all. So, but they have made all those things keeping in mind all the sustainability practices and all those things. Now take the case of, you know, when we speak about sustainability, when we speak about Japan, we should also speak about Bangladesh also. You know what they did when the meter gauge was expanded to broad gauge. In fact, it was covered in one of the newsletter also. They didn't replace the entire railway track. In fact, they laid one track and on one side and used the other track. The middle track was kept non-operational. That is how they made the, or they have broadened the gauge from the broad gauge to meter gauge to broad gauge or something like that. So every country has their own way of attaining sustainability. India has a way depending upon our requirements and all those things. That may not be the right way for other countries. That may not be the way. Right. So that is, so when we are opting for the opportunities, we have to come out of all the, or we have to, it's not possible to come out, I would say, to a great extent. How can we mitigate or reduce the challenges? And that is what is the key takeaway from, countries like GCC, Japan and all. We'll be also covering other countries in the days to come. We have decided that every month there should be a session pertaining to one country, starting with GCC country in July. August will be some other country and all. So that will give an opportunity for all the members to understand what all are the opportunities. So the advantage of attending the session is twofold. Number one, identifying what all are the opportunities there in those countries. Number two, what are the key takeaways? Because in whatever position you are working as a cost accountant, be it in employment or practice, you are a key participant in terms of sustainability, undoubtedly, wherever you are working. You may be working in an accounts department and all those things. We are talking today about green jobs, green offices and all those things. Green jobs, green offices and all. It's not just adding a prefix. It has got a very deep meaning. It has got a very inherent meaning. So, just like other countries are taking a lot of lessons from our country, we also have a lot of lessons, and we can always use it as a very hybrid mode of establishing sustainability in our professional lives. Now, that is what all I would like to tell. And in case if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. In fact, in our next lectures and all, we would like to have more of an interaction. We will be happy in case if you are asking questions in between also, because then it becomes goes in a discussion mode. So in case if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I think Deependu also will have a list of questions. So in case if you have any questions, we will be very happy to address the way in which we can.
Thank you, sir. I think in the chat box, one or two questions have come. Ranjit sir, if you allow us to.
Yeah.
I think.
Q&A.
There. I think should we go ahead with it, or we should skip those?
Yeah, Shekhar. Yeah, please.
You can read it. There are 14 questions.
Can you please elaborate on USA leaving the Paris Agreement of UN sustainability targets?
No, that is a very sensitive topic. I would like to reserve my views on that, because this event is recorded and I don't want to express any views. But it is a fact that they have exited. Yes.
Okay, another question is Sensex.
One of the participants has, I was unable to catch the year dates and all those things. Census was expected to be done in 2021, but it is rescheduled to 2027. I also read it, but I was not recollecting it. That was the news which came a couple of weeks back. Yeah.
Any of sir,
but though I would also like to reserve my thoughts on why a particular country has stepped out and all those things. But these days there are various countries which are also Deependu following anti-ESG also, for various reasons. I think we should also have a session on that also, to create more awareness about the impact of sustainability.
One of our
impact, not only the impact, the influence and the positive aspects of sustainability.
Sir, one of our reader of Sukhino Bhavantu has requested us that we have started this SDG for state-wise Why cannot you do for the Gulf wise? Because today's presentation was perfectly on that line only, so that
We
can.
are tell him that we are going to do continent wise. Why only Gulf?
No, it is a sustainable development report. Region wise, it is Asia Pacific, South Asia. It's a very detailed document. What we
Correct.
have, since we are doing GCC countries.
Correct. But I am extremely delighted that people are reading those articles and all. Of course, they will get to know, also have an international perspective also. So as an institute, it is our responsibility to partner with the concept of sustainable development goals, so that people will get more awareness. For example, you may be knowing that when we speak about sustainable development goals, even for our certificate program, we will always, only for sustainable development goals, we will always request even the school going children also to attend, sit with their parents and listen to sustainable development goals. So because that is the responsibility of an institution, and that is the responsibility of an individual who can address on that particular topic. But we are extremely delighted that people are reading the statistics, whatever we are giving, how the states are performing and all those things. But one line of advice I would like to tell you, the statistics keep changing. Probably what you have read 3 months back, if you go to Niti Aayog website today, there may be a change also. Thoda upar niche hote. So I request all the readers to refer to the relevant websites also to keep track of the current developments, which Deependu, you will agree, when we speak about sustainable development goals, it keeps changing.
Right, sir. So 2-3 questions have come in the chat line. Like as an internal auditor, what key aspects to be checked regarding the SDG performance?
Yeah,
No,
Shekhar sir will technically address that question. But if you want to be really effective, don't create a feeling that you are doing an audit. Because the moment you create a feeling that you are doing an audit, there is always a mental blockage. But how you have to do it, the technical aspect, Shekhar sir will be in a position to tell.
Now, see, when you talk of SDG performance, it is a very, very subjective concept. Because there are estimates involved, there are measurements involved, and like for instance, how do you account for waste, e-waste, battery waste, and so on, plastic waste? There are no records available actually. If that's the experience with India, I don't know what is the experience in Gulf countries, but the records, from the records, you cannot work out what is the available records. So the record has to be maintained, records have to be built up, documents have to be generated. So now that's where I called, the data which is required for certain things, or whether they are available. So internal audit could suggest that data should be available, data capture methodologies should be evolved, and work should be done on that. Once that data capture is done and systems are established, then internal audit could review whether the data reported is reliable or not. Today, when you have most of the data or most of the reporting information is an estimate, really it is your opinion against mine. And and like for instance, in a bank, if you ask them, so on scope 1, they have to report scope 1 emissions. So bank has got at all India level, let's say they have got around 600 vehicles. They run for around, let us say each vehicle runs for anywhere between 500 to 1,000 kilometers in a month or in a quarter, let us say, whatever period. Now, how much emission, what fuel it is using. So the records are required if you want to measure actual numbers, or you are taking an average. average efficiency of fuel efficiency of this. So now the way in which you are reporting that information in your reports, in their sustainability reports. Now each jurisdiction has got its own requirement. We will be taking up sessions in, I think, session 4. I think we will be taking up reporting systems, GRI, and how BRSR could be helpful to Gulf. So that time we will cover this point. But internal audit, as Ranjit has rightly said, the moment you call something as an audit, it becomes a cost proposition. And when you don't see value, when you see cost, you will get assignments based on L1. If you see value, then you will get more respect also, and you will get value. So that is one thing. You never call this an audit. It is always better to call saying that you are a consultant or an advisor. And don't use the word audit, use the word assurance. Right, no, Ranjit?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Because even in school, we have seen children performing better when the word assessment is used in place of examination.
Recently, we have added scope of work, including audit working papers that show ESG related initiatives, that is local community contribution, human rights, local residents, human rights, DD, etc. One of our member has written, the same member who has asked about this internal auditor question. So this is for your information, sir. Sir, another question has come. It is a controversial question. I don't know whether Ranjit sir will allow me to ask this question. Both COP28 in Dubai and COP29 in Baku thwarted the real goals of renewable energy transition. Can you please explain the GCC sustainability goals in that light?
Yeah. See, the question has come from, anonymous. The name of the person who has sent the question is not there. It is written an anonymous, if I am correct, Dibendu. But I will request the person who has raised the question to go through the the writings available with regard to COP26. So when he has got a very clear understanding of COP26, he or she will get a better understanding about COP28 and 29. Shekhar sir can supplement because Shekhar sir strongly advocates that whatever COP is going to come in the days to come is definitely going to be an extension of COP26. So invariably, when he speaks about COPs, his prime focus normally used to be COP26. Sir, if you can throw light.
Right. See, Conference of Parties, that the first one, the Paris, the first one is what governs the whole process. Now, there is a path which is laid out, but you have traveled a slightly different path. So it is taking you, giving you different results. And there are constraints also as you go along the path. So there has been no restatement of the goals. There are no revisions. But there is a lack of performance which is reported. And also what is there is that some of the nations have, as I said, reported financial constraints in achieving their SDGs. That is a fact. So really, that this question cannot be answered in a short time. We need to study what is that old data, and then only we can answer. And for this purpose, we are not prepared for this.
But in fact, I compliment the person who has asked that question. Dipendu, you will be remembering that in Sukhino Bhavantu also, we had a series of COP covered. I think we have covered from COP1 to COP 29, Deependu, or 28. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah,
But up
29,
to
sir.
28, it was covered in detail. So, and right from initial COPs, for example, from COP1 to COP10, our research team has found, has invested a lot of time in getting the information and all those things. So I will request, the participants to go through all the COP details which we have provided in the previous issues of Sukhino Bandhu newsletter, which is there in the website. And this question also is prompting us, Deependu, to think about having an exclusive webinar series on COP. Let me tell you, so that we can have a detailed preparation and deliberation on this particular topic. Because all COPs, when it comes to the matter of sustainability, are extremely vital. And with all COPs, how cost account, what is the role of cost accountants and all those things. I think there is a scope where, sir, we can think of having a COP series also, depending upon time, once we are through with the Pariniyati series or whatever. Shekhar, sir, what is your view? Because,
yes, in fact, that's what COP, SDGs, these are topics which whatever amount of discussion we do, it is insufficient.
Okay. And one more thing, if the person who has asked that question is, very serious in understanding the concept, he or she is most welcome to join our certificate course on ESG, because we have a detailed deliberation of COP by one of the veteran faculty member also. In fact, 2 days are fully dedicated, Deependu, for the COP this thing.
Yes, 2 days.
And we discuss all the recent COPs also. So I think it's a good opportunity for the person who has asked that question to enroll for our course. Now the 4th batch is going on to take maximum benefit of it. Otherwise, we can, depending upon the time schedule, availability of speakers and all, we can have a webinar series also later. But you are most welcome to join for our program, where you will get to know more about it.
In fact, the anonymous person who is a lady, she has named her name in the chat box. I think
no problem.
Yes.
But that the question is most welcome. The question is most welcome. Very relevant question. Very relevant question, and it is having immense utility value. And this also is helping us to go ahead and think of having a detailed webinar series. And most importantly, the candidate is most welcome to join for our course on sustainable, this ESG, where 2 days are exclusively dedicated. And I think we are also covering COP29, right? The syllabus is already updated, right?
Right, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I find it I find it to be a very relevant question only.
There is one question. Bhutan is leading in happiness index, but not in SDG index in top 12 list, as mentioned in your presentation. My this thing SDG is from the Sustainable Development Goals. Now Ranjit explained happiness index is on a different parameter. There is only correlation between happiness index and SDG. Bhutan is where in the happiness index, Ranjit, if you can.
Let me see.
He's saying, and in happiness index it is 12. So we have to see in Bhutan where it is. We have to see.
Sir, I am having that list in front of me. Finland, Denmark, Iceland, Switzerland, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Sweden, Norway, Israel, New Zealand, Austria, Australia, Ireland, Germany,
Bhutan,
Canada.
where it is.
Sir, I have the details of first 23. Bhutan is not featuring, but I'm sure that it will be ahead of India only.
Why even Sri Lanka is ahead of India?
Yeah.
But then that's a different.
I think, sir, more or less, we have covered the questions.
Any questions?
2-3 appreciation messages are there, so I'm not repeating those. I think
Yeah, somebody has written our survival depends on success of SDG. More detailed analysis is welcome. Absolutely. You know, it is always an evolving this thing. And I request all the members to remain updated with country-wise performance, state-wise performance and all. See what happens now in our writings and all, we can give a basic understanding about how our country is performing and all, but the statistics of performance is short-lived. So I request you to, regularly visit the websites of Niti Aayog, UN websites and all those things to have a clear understanding about SDG. And our survival depends upon success on SDG. Absolutely true. And as an individual, as a professional, as a citizen, and as a society, we have got a huge responsibility to play to ensure that, the SDGs are achieved in the best possible way. Then Bhutan, somebody has written.
The rest of it is all suggestions, like they don't want it on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, so another is thank you for your willingness to discuss on. Yeah, we have already discussed about that particular query. Most welcome. Deependu, if you have the details of what is the name, Deepa Datta Chowdhury, please send forward the details of our ESG course. And also about COP29, that particular edition where we have covered, where Aditi has given a detailed analysis of COP28 and 29. Please send it to her for her reading. I'm sure that it will be of great benefit.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. And sir, your article also I can share, sir, if you are giving
Yeah. Mr. Shekhar also has written a number of articles in this space. You can seek his permission and also send articles. As per the policy of the institute. But all our articles are there in public domain, so you can very well. It is there in public domain only, so it can be, of course, shared as a reading material.
Thank you, sir.
Request you to have sustainability course not on weekend evenings. I am, we are ready to have the course on everyday evening. If Deependu is giving us the slot and if Deependu is ready to organize batches, he's already jam-packed with lot of other responsibilities also. But a query has come that, it should not be, it should be on working days also. But, as faculty members will be very happy to teach the course on all the days. There is no problem because we consider it as an opportunity. But only thing is that, this is one of the certificate course offered by institute. There are other courses also. So there are time constraints and all those things. That is the reason. But I don't know whether it is possible to have a weekend, working day slots and all those things. But all said, though it is a weekend course, the recordings are available. I think it is shared with all the participants. And out of our busy schedule and, a tightly packed professional life, it is a matter of 3 months, right? 3 months. How many sessions are there, Deependu? 12 months. Sorry, 12. How many sessions?
12 sessions.
Yeah, 12 sessions are there. So if anybody can, utilize their time for 12 sessions of 2 hours, 24 hours.
No, not 12. I think it is what, 16
How many
sessions.
sessions, Dipendu?
So 25 sessions, 50
20,
hours course.
25 sessions.
24 sessions.
I'm sure that it will be a great investment for you. And in fact, some of the first batch students have told that, many of them are inclined to take up sustainability related jobs in their organizations wherever they are working, like ESG, BRSR and all those things. So I'm sure that it will be helpful to a very great extent. If at all you are missing 1 or 2 lectures for any reasons, Dipendu, I think, will share the recordings and all those things. But the learnings of the course is something which is really praiseworthy. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll close. Sir, our next session is on 16th and 17th.
I think, sir, there are no more questions.
Okay.
So with this, we close today's session, and I thank wholeheartedly our 2 speakers. They will be coming again for the 3rd session on 17th of this
16
month.
and
17th and 18th, sir.
17 and 18.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And sir, I think in between we also have another Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam on 11th Friday, that is Friday. So we hope participants, I think these encouraging messages are means the best gifts which we got. I think more webinars are welcome. Many people have written in their chat box, and I thank wholeheartedly your support. We will be uploading these recordings in our YouTube channel, and I thank our chairman, CMA Dr. Ashish Satte, who is also the joint chairman of both SSB and International Affairs Committee, the organizers of these webinars. And with this, we also thank our SSB board members, and fortunately, both of them are present today. Ranjit Krishnan sir and Shekhar sir both are our SSB board members, and other board members, we thank their continuous support, and our president, vice president, and other council members for their continuous motivation to organize such webinars in a grand manner. With this, we close today's session. I thank our IT, CPD department and other persons who are connected with this webinar for their continuous support, and I thank everybody. With this, we close today's session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.